Is Batman ready to go it alone fighting crime in Gotham City minus Alfred, his trusted butler? Well, let's hop into the pages of Detective Comics number 1018 and find out together, shall we? So, it may be the first of the new year as I upload this video. In the comic, it's still very much Christmas time in Gotham, and it would seem that a cult of neo-pagans is doing some decorating. And by decorating, I of course mean a burly Viking is splitting people's heads open with an axe. Wow, forget the Christ in Christmas, these guys are putting the literal Yule back in Yuletide. Which, I joke, but seriously, the pagan Viking holiday of Yule is actually where we get a lot of our Christmas tradition from, and we're gonna actually talk more about that later. From there, we transition to Batman, who never takes a holiday off. He's stopping a jewelry store robbery right now. And believe it or not, he's actually a little disappointed. It turns out the perp in this situation had just gotten out of jail, and Batman had a bit of a gentleman's bet going on with Gordon over whether or not this guy would reoffend. Now, the comic actually gets very interesting when Batman returns to the cave. His two bat hounds, both Ace and Titus, want to play. Bruce can't say no to them, especially as they've been alone all day, and it's right around here you're reminded, oh yeah, I guess Alfred dealt with the animals, didn't he? But Alfred can't do that now because he's dead. A fact of which hits Bruce very hard, and me as the reader even harder when we stop to remember, oh wow, this is Christmas time in Gotham. This is Batman's first Christmas without Alfred. Naturally, when met with this sort of sorrow, Batman chooses to throw himself into his work fully completely. He decides to get a little intel from Harvey Bullock, who I can only assume with Jim Gordon infected by the Batman Who Laughs is essentially running the show at the GCPD. Their relationship is as rocky as it's ever been, but they've actually come a long way. Sure, Bullock doesn't take Batman seriously, will occasionally bust his costumed balls, but does give him the information he wants. It seems that there's actually been an uptake in Christmas-themed crimes as of recently. A shiner was murdered while selling Christmas trees, and a mall security guard got thrown off a rooftop. In a funny joke, both Batman and Bullock figure, oh, well, this has to be the work of Calendar Man, right? Who else pulls off seasonal crimes? Now, Batman follows up on the trail of evidence, and he's eventually brought to one of Gotham's many Christmas tree farms, where he finds a rather grisly scene: dead people used as literal ornaments. Batman admits that this is a sickening level of brutality, and this is a guy who of course has dealt with the likes of Deacon Blackfire and Barbatos. Deciding to flex his detective muscles, Batman gets up into one of the evergreen trees and realizes that whoever the killer was left behind a strange Viking rune. Hey, fun unrelated fact, did you know that the Bluetooth symbol is actually a Viking rune? I didn't know it, someone had to tell me that, and I thought it was amazing, and now I'm sharing it with you. Granted, this rune here is most definitely not the Bluetooth one. It's a symbol of fire, of sun worship, which makes a lot of sense because Vikings would burn evergreen trees during Yule to stave off winter depression. And then, of course, the church stepped in, as they often do, and said, hey, if you keep wanting to party and burn trees, make it about, I don't know, Jesus' birth or something. Now, as I mentioned before, Bruce no longer has Alfred to guide him around, which means he's also in charge of his own schedule these days, and he's not doing it too well. He almost misses the big Wayne Enterprises lighting of the Christmas tree. Luckily, though, Bruce is a charming guy and is able to parlay his own lateness into a story about his parents and how this was one of the happiest times of the year for the Wayne family, and getting to watch his dad light the tree meant a lot to him as a boy and means a lot to him now as a man. Of course, what he couldn't have stopped to think is that these Christmas trees also just so happen to be the weird obsession of his recent villain du jour, because at that point the big crazy Viking pops out of the Christmas tree and tries to kill him. And so that was Detective Comics number 1018, and I gotta say, I really do like the setup for this story. I feel the elevator pitch had to go something along the lines of, hey, Batman versus Christmas Vikings. Most people would probably laugh that pitch out of a room, but I gotta say, I positively love it. It's so quintessentially comic, so wonderfully weird and out there, and yet in the hands of someone like Tomasi, he manages to actually add a ton of emotional weight and depth to the story by making this also a tale of Bruce dealing with Alfred's death at the holidays. Plus, I mean, really, I just love the idea that Batman's newest foe is a guy who dresses up like a Viking. That's pretty classic Batman foe when it comes to gimmicks. I feel like so many writers are so obsessed with creating the next Joker or the next Two-Face, they forget to have fun with it, and I had a lot of fun with this, which is why I give give it an 8 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, Cape Joel again, and I want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you see, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. It really helps drive engagement and helps me out too. Also, if you are a patron, which you can become for as little as $1 a month, you will get exclusive content that no one else can ever see, and you'll get to see the Comic Multiverse podcast before anyone else too. You can check out all this and more down in the description. And until next time everyone, this has been Cape Joel, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.